Okay guys, we are back on site, week 3.5, entering the 4th week. As I said, I am committed to giving you guys weekly updates. So I'm gonna take you through what's been going on. It's been a fast 2.5 weeks, but as you know, there's always gonna be setbacks when you're going too fast. Like there's always gonna be setbacks, there's always gonna be challenges. So I'll show you guys what the challenges that we've been facing over the last week and how we're overcoming them and what's coming next. So coming into the first bedroom, as you can see here, there's not actually a wall in here anymore. You've got bits of the wall that's already been starting to get ripped down. And it's funny because last week when I gave you guys the last update, I thought I was in a position where plastering could start. But as I got the plasterers to come in, the professionals to start quoting me up on the job, they raised a few issues in terms of a lot of the plaster on the wall had already blown. So putting a skim over it would mean that after like a few months down the line, the cracks that were already in the wall would re-show. So when I'm thinking about doing projects like this and I want to keep them for a long time, longevity, you don't want to be cutting corners here where 2-3 years down the line, you're having to redo the things that you could have done at this point. And now you've got a nice refurbished house and then you're having to rip down walls because you didn't do things properly the first time round. So what we're doing here is this whole wall here, we had to take it all down, we ripped it all down. We're going to be reinforcing the wall, insulating it, and then putting plasterboard on top of it. And as a HMO, we're going to need to put fireboarded plasterboard. So that is the red, pinkish plasterboard, and that's going to make it a lot easier for the plasterers to skim the walls as well, and it would dry a lot quicker because we'd just be skimming the plasterboards. When you come across things like this, where you're smashing it, like 2.5 weeks into it, we had our first fix done, we have our ensuite frames done, built out, and I thought, yes, let's go to the plastering. And then you get to have these hard conversations where people are being realistic to you and saying, listen Ethan, you can plaster it, but number one, it's going to be a lot harder for us to do the job, meaning it's going to end up costing you more. And number two, even if we did try to do a patch-up job, what would happen is the cracks would re-show. So this whole week has been a bit of a slow one because we've just been getting loads of people in to start ripping down the walls, reinforcing the walls and basically rebuilding them. So you'll be able to see here, as we turn around, this wall's already been knocked down because the plaster had blown in here. This whole wall is going to get ripped down as well, so we're going to essentially go back to brick on this wall. But luckily for me, I don't have to take down this wall here. So this wall here, all across here, will be staying. So I'll be able to keep that wall, and all it would need is some bonding, and then we'll be able to plaster it again. But the good thing is, just doing this, I've been able to learn so much in terms of, building products where you want to get the longevity, you want to do it well, and if you want to do it right, just do it right properly once. Because if you cut corners, you just end up paying twice anyway. Now moving on into this room here, at the moment it's just been using as storage for a lot of the materials. As you can see, we got our insulation. So luckily we're going to be re-insulating all these walls so that the tenants of this property as well will be able to benefit from not having to hear their next door neighbours. It's all part of building a good product, and again we're going to be insulating the flooring because, as I said before, this is a split level apartment, so we've actually got a neighbour underneath us. So you can see here, that's already been the floorboards that's been ripped up. So we will be ripping up floorboards on this, leveling it out, and before we place down the new plywood on the floor, we're going to be putting down 18mm plywood. But before we do that, we'll make sure that we're insulating it so we get no complaints from the neighbours. And that's something, again, you can easily get away with not doing, but then it's like, why would you put yourself in that situation where down the line again, you're getting calls from your neighbour saying that your tenants upstairs are making too much noise. So just trying to overcome that, future-proof this project and making sure that it has the longevity it needs, because this is going to be highly cash flowing. And if you haven't done it properly and you haven't future-proofed it and it stops producing you cash flow, it's a detriment to the business. So we're making sure we're doing things properly with the insulation. And into the kitchen here, it's been a bit of a slow week, as I said before. We're just gonna wait to kind of build up all the waste so that we do the waste in one load. What we don't want to do is like get skips, fill them up, and then having to get another skip, fill it up, getting another skip, fill it up. So we are trying to keep as much waste on site and just getting a loading skip to come one time, and then we get rid of all the rubbish, and we just do that repeat the process again. Over here, I've also received the sad news of some of the walls are blown. So when I mean by blown is that the plaster is gone. So essentially, when you bang on it and it gets that, like, it feels a bit biscuity and it feels a bit hollow, essentially you're gonna have to rip the whole wall off because the plaster's completely gone, and then we're gonna have to replace it, board it up again with new fireboards, and then skim the fireboards instead of trying to save it and skimming it again, and then in a couple months time all the cracks start showing again. It's been a tough one. It's a big reality check of, you know, you're going so fast, and then what is a fast week without a couple of slow weeks or a couple of setbacks and a couple of knockbacks? But as an entrepreneur, it's just all about being solution orientated and just making sure you're getting the right people in to be able to just get the job done properly. So it's actually a Sunday and it's bank holiday tomorrow, but as I said, we've had a slow week, so we make sure we've got the boys in working across the whole bank holiday weekend to catch up and make sure we're still on track ahead of our time scale and deadline for this project. What I was talking about before, about the flooring, this has already happened in this room, so you'll be able to see we've got the new plywood here and everything's already been leveled out, so it'll be a lot easier when we're going to lay down the laminate flooring. That could be a lot easier, and making sure that, you know, it's all been insulated and it's just all leveled out and clean so that we have that longevity in the project. And also the floorboards, there's no noises, so there's not going to be any squeaking about as well when the tenants are walking up and down on this top floor. So we actually can't go into the other room because they're just currently occupied that room. Yeah, so all the chippies are in there working from that room. So we're going to finish off here. We've actually got a site visit again today, where all the members of my mastermind will be coming down and I'll be taking them through the whole project, explaining the depths on how I structured the deal, how I've been able to, you know, use other teams, because in this we have our original team, but we've been incorporating others to come in here just to increase the size of the team, making sure that everyone's gelling together to get the job done as quickly as possible. As the team is used to working on like 1 to 2 bedroom flips, and this is a much bigger project, so we've, you know, having to get more manpower to get this job done a lot quicker, which has been a really good result so far. So I'm going to be sharing all my knowledge on that. So if you do want to get involved in that, make sure you hit the link in the description where you'll be able to register for the mastermind, book a call with me, and we'll see if the mastermind is a place for you. Other than that, I'm going to leave you guys to it until next week, and hopefully we've got some plastering done. I'm hoping next week also to get the plastering done and have everything boarded up. So you see here what we're going to do here, fully insulate it and board it up. I want all of that to be completed, but who knows what challenges that will come across. But just make sure you're following me and following everything, keeping updated on Instagram at EthanXHammond, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Lately I've been feeling something.